There are some incredible new rumors surrounding the third book in the Bequin series, why it was delayed, and how it ties into the future of Warhammer. And one of the tastiest morsels of these new rumors is an identity reveal, supposedly from the author himself. There are a lot of people in the Warhammer community talking about this, and some huge channels are claiming this is confirmation. But what this is being blown way out of proportion. It is all coming back to a post on Reddit, where the guy's claiming to have asked Dan Abnett a few questions at a book signing. So why is the community claiming that Dan did an interview where he revealed this information? Yes, people have contorted this to be an official Black Library Q&A with full interview, and this is a massive game of telephone at this point. The community is really running with this. But why? Because some people are really full of hot air. So let's look at the Reddit post and we'll decide for ourselves what is real and what is not. We can want something to be true all we want, but we have to follow the clues. And in this case, there are some major red flags, and the klaxons are screaming, "This is bunk." From the Black Library Reddit. Got to meet Dan Abnett and have some books signed. Actually amazing to meet him in person. Really friendly and was happy to answer all the questions I had. I'm kicking myself for not taking my special editions of Pariah and Penitent along. I figured since they came signed, there'd be no point in getting them signed again, which I now regret. He confirmed that he'd like to revisit the Ghosts when he has the chance, but currently has other projects ongoing, having just finished one book and immediately started writing another. The delay for Pandemonium is because of the potential lore impact it's going to have on the setting, and is due to GW wanting to get the lore in the TV show totally settled first. They apparently don't want to end up having some of the potentially galaxy-shaking events of Pandemonium contradict what they lay out in the show. He'd also love to do a follow-up book to Interceptor City, and has a rough outline for what it would be. Oh, and finally, Ingo Peck. Pandemonium. Snake emoji. So, we see here that the original poster is saying Dan let him know Pandemonium is delayed so Games Workshop can coordinate with Amazon Studios better and keep the galaxy-changing events to come in Pandemonium on the same page as the upcoming Amazon show. Okay, so the show is then possibly tied to Eisenhorn. Nothing new there. This has been highly speculated already. But the main thing that people are focusing on with this Reddit post is that the guy ends it with, "Oh yeah, Ingo Peck," and a snake emoji. And that is being taken to mean that Dan Abnett literally told this guy at a book signing that Death Row is Ingo Peck, which is one of the most popular fan theories as to his identity, and one I particularly like. But I have to point out that Mr. Abnett is under an NDA. He's not legally allowed to disclose such spoilers before the book comes out. Now, the person who supposedly shared this with one of the biggest YouTubers in the Warhammer sphere apparently did so on Discord, and I have to say, the guy who shared it is someone I put little faith in. Now, remember what Games Workshop did to Miniac? He posted pics from an event, Golden Demon if I recall correctly, a couple of hours before he was allowed to, completely by accident, and they banned him permanently and kicked him out. Now, he's a massive YouTuber and an influencer in the miniature wargaming and hobby community, but Games Workshop, they just didn't care. They cut him loose with no ifs, ands, or buts. Miniac isn't Dan Abnett, but I do think this is telling. They are extremely strict with what they want to keep a lid on. And then there's the telephone effect, as in the game of telephone. People have literally been commenting on my channel that this is not only a verified fact, but it is indisputable and comes from a Black Library interview, when that is 100% misinformation. So this shows that people are parroting this without even reading the Reddit post or watching the video that this information was even revealed in. People are just like, hey, this huge channel is saying this is fact, and then the game of telephone takes over. So they parrot what they hear and then exaggerate it, and it eventually gets posted everywhere. So be careful when it comes to this information. I don't believe the person on Reddit is even real, honestly, and I believe this is all made up because someone is trying to generate interest in what they're saying. That's my perception of this so far. It is manufactured and is literally hot air and misdirection. If it is Ingo Peck, do you really think that Dan Abnett or anyone at Black Library would fully confirm that to a random fan at a book signing? No, he wouldn't. You're absolutely correct. I mean, it is literally a case of someone saying that some guy said on Reddit, and then some guy posted that in a huge YouTube's Discord, and then that got a video made about it. And now there's a large portion of the community screaming, "This is truth, it is confirmed, and anyone who disagrees is being disingenuous." Those calling this out for the misinformation it is are being shouted down, disregarded, and called liars themselves. The narrative that is being established is disingenuous, and the community seems more than willing to eat it up, as it is indisputable truth. Which is just not the case. This is a case of problem, reaction, solution type of information control. Tomorrow I'll go post on Reddit how Jervis Johnson told me the name of the 11th Primarch and showed me the new model. Then I'll post it on my Discord under an alternate account so it looks legit. Then I'll make a video about how this is real and it is truth. Come on guys, you've got to apply more critical thinking to this. Have you ever signed an NDA? I have. Dan would be sued into oblivion and probably lose his cushy job at Black Library if he revealed something like that. I'd expect one of two answers if I asked him who Death Row is, and Ingo Peck is not one of them. I'd either expect to hear, "I can neither confirm nor deny that," or, "If I told you, I'd have to kill you." The same answers you'd get if you ask a CIA officer a direct question. Anything less than that is unrealistic. It's easy to believe, especially since Peck is sort of in the lead as far as who the community already thinks it is. This makes the reveal, and I'm putting reveal in massive air quotes, so much easier for people to accept. If you tell them it is who they already think it is, then you're playing into their confirmation bias, and people will eat that up. But that's not what I'm about on this channel. We can speculate, we can guess, we can postulate who is most likely, but it ain't over till the fat lady sings. Isn't that how it goes? Yeah, it ain't over till all the misinformation agents on YouTube grift. Don't fall for the trap of believing rumors like this. One of the biggest reveals in the last 16 years now of Warhammer did not just get dropped to a random guy at a book signing. Of that, we can be guaranteed. Is it still most likely that character? Is it most likely the Alpha Legion's first captain, Ingo Peck? Quite possibly. People sure do seem to think so. I personally, well, if you know this channel, you know I believe it is Alfarius, like for real the actual acting Alfarius, which would probably mean Omegon. But I must say I would not be disappointed in the slightest if it turned out to be Ingo. He's an incredible character and I feel he didn't get enough screen time. But we can wish it was him all we want. It doesn't make it fact. Also, do you think if you're asking a Black Library author about an as-yet-to-be-revealed plot detail involving Alpha Legion, they would even want to tell you the truth? Me personally, I'd lie and mislead, as that plays right into the Alpha Legion tropes. There'd be a wry smile across my face, and I'd be thinking Hydra Dominatus as I said a lie that was also the answer they expected most. It would be the most believable, and be easy to do, and oh so satisfying. But again, I don't even believe this happened. It sounds 100% fabricated because people, as we've grown impatient, have begun to put the pieces together, so the misinformation campaign had to start. And this is all especially so if the part of the rumors about Amazon getting on the same page with Games Workshop are true. They'd want to generate hype and discussion online ahead of time, but still hold the cards close to their chests. This is the sort of subterfuge I'd expect from an intelligence agency, not from a miniature war games company. But it is what it is, and is happening nonetheless. So, do you believe the rumors? Am I off base to disregard some random guy on Reddit's posts? But one thing's for sure, Pandemonium is done, and Dan does know the answer to the identity of Death Row. But did you notice how in the Reddit post the guy didn't say Death Row is Ingo Peck? He just randomly threw out an incomplete sentence. Oh, finally, Ingo Peck, snake emoji. Finally Ingo Peck what? You could actually run with that in 1,000 different directions. A little context, grammar, or a complete sentence would have helped. When it comes to the Alpha Legion, it is lies within lies within lies until the truth seems like the lie. It would be unwise to take any of this rumor at face value. Now, many of you know I am not a fan of, and am actually a bit adversarial to the person who brought this to YouTube. But I'm not letting that bias my opinion on the information. Intel is intel. And at this point, it is unverified, single source, with zero evidence other than a Reddit post. Is it possible it happened? Yes, of course. But is it just as likely that it is untrue, contrived, fabricated, or a deliberate misdirection? Yes, it is. When there are massive amounts of cash and huge corporate deals on the line, like with Games Workshop and Amazon Studios, and their live-action Warhammer 40k show that Henry Cavill is doing, Games Workshop isn't going to want any leaks. But then again, this is becoming a game of corporate powerhouses holding secrets, and the story itself is a spy story. They may be leaking misinformation deliberately in an attempt to obfuscate the truth, to hide the reality of what they are doing behind a smokescreen so they can continue to operate on the project without too many prying noses sniffing at what they're actually doing. So let's not take this with a grain of salt. Let's pour the whole fucking shaker out on this one. Someone on Reddit, possibly, and someone on YouTube, definitely, have a bridge they'd like to sell you, and they are relying on people's knee-jerk reaction rather than critical thinking skills to pull off their grift. If you want to believe this is true, then take into account that Dan Abnett has also said that it is someone else in the past, not Ingo Peck. So if he did say it is Ingo, he's also said before that it is not, which just goes to show that they aren't interested in revealing anything, not until the book is out. And yes, it will cause pandemonium on a galactic scale, no matter what happens. When it comes to Alpha Legion, their first captain and their Primarch, trusting that anything is truth is unwise. Remember, Death Row was wearing a mask under his helmet, and his real face was beneath that. But Ingo Peck's real face was surgically altered to look like his Primarch's. His face is already a mask, which is completely anecdotal, but I feel is important to consider. Anyway, these are my thoughts on this Ingo Peck situation and how the Warhammer 40k community is reacting to it. I'd say don't believe the hype, and we won't really know until the book drops. Either way, I'll be happy. Ingo Peck, Alfarius, hell, I'd be happy for it to be just about anyone. But I won't believe it until I have Pandemonium in my hands. Dan Abnett could stand atop Big Ben and shout Ingo Peck with a megaphone, and until the book is in my hands, everyone involved, ironically including myself because I am Alfarius, is suspect and lying and deliberately misdirecting. Use your critical thinking, don't fall for your personal confirmation bias, and don't believe those who are trying to sell you a bridge, especially when they can't even be bothered to use complete sentences and their message is deliberately cryptic. Oh, finally, Ingo Peck, snake emoji. More like, oh yeah, buy this bridge, poop emoji, because until the fat lady sings, this is all just a bunch of monkeys flinging crap, and the sick part is huge swaths of the community are screaming, give me more, not even realizing they're covered head to toe in monkey shit. Just a thought. Have a great day, everyone. Hydra Dominatus.